This is my story about how I discovered a ghost. And at this point, I do think they're going to become the biggest band on the planet. So, a friend of mine, um, big Phil Anselmo fan, he told me about this band that Phil Anselmo has been talking about for a while. And he's like, oh man, you need to hear this band. They're amazing. And I heard them, and because of the imagery and everything like that, and being that they're from Sweden, I was expecting a much more like punch in the face. And I heard the music, and I was kind of like, that's different. But I wasn't really into them at the time. I was just kind of like, because my expectations were so high. You know, I was expecting a more like brutal kind of heavy metal band. So, fast forward a couple years. Infestasumen came out. And I heard Secular Haze. A coworker of mine, Ghost was coming to town with Avenged Sevenfold and the Deftones. And I was a big Avenged Sevenfold fan at the time, and I still am. But, you know, like, I showed my friend at work. He was a serious, you know, Christian kind of guy. And I showed him the video for Secular Haze, and that was the first song I heard from Infestasumen. And I loved it. I fucking dug the shit out of it. I thought it was like the music video was like a 70s TV show appearance. And they even had like, I don't know what they did to create that, but I thought it was awesome. He was like, "Yep, yeah, nope, not going." So, and me and my friends at work had this plan to go see Ghost, the Deftones, and Avenged Sevenfold. And up to that point, I hadn't seen Avenged Sevenfold either. So, you know, that went by. I saw Avenged Sevenfold for the first time. I think it was. No, actually, I saw Avenged Sevenfold before that. I saw Avenged Sevenfold in 2009. But I want to see them again. We did end up seeing them again at Mayhem Fest. I think it was 2014. Hell of a show. And Mayhem Fest was kind of toned down, whereas I don't know, the first time we saw them, they were opening for Korn. So it was kind of like one of those things, like they were the opening band. And when we saw them at Mayhem Fest, they were headlining. So a full-on show. They ended with Little Piece of Heaven. But the first time we saw Avenged Sevenfold was with Rev. So when they played A Little Piece of Heaven, we saw them at Mayhem Fest. They were playing it through the speakers. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. We're talking about Ghost. So, you know, I heard Secular Haze, and I thought it was really cool the way they shot that music video. I thought it was really fucking cool. It was old school. It was, and once I got past the whole thing, like that, I was expecting something that wasn't there. Infestimum, whatever. Like I always have a hard time with that title. So I heard Year Zero. I heard Per Aspera at Emperor, and that song was awesome. In fact, the whole Infestasum album was amazing. Year Zero is a song that my kids like. They love it. You know, like the whole choir intro, and then it just comes like, you know. And then they came out with Melior. And that album, Primo, like, that album was amazing. It still is. There's a reason why they won a Grammy. An American Grammy from a Swedish band. Imagine that one, right? Probably one of the first in the history of the Grammys. That album, that song, deserved the Grammy because it just builds and builds and builds and builds into this whole, like, this fist pumping kind of, you know. And my wife and I just saw Ghost, and I've never seen such a calm show, a calm audience at a metal show, because they know their place. They know that they're there to see a show, and it's not like people bumping into each other and trying to fight each other, and you know. And that's the great thing about Ghost, is the fact that they're, you know, it's a show. You're there to see the show, you know. And I think, you know, and it's kind of a bummer that Tobias Forge has been outed. You know, but at the same time, he still has his vision. He still has, you know, because there's always been rumblings here and there about who Papa Emeritus is. But it doesn't really take away from the music. That was the big thing about Ghost for me. It wasn't a gimmick. They had the music to back it. And that's something I can't say about Marilyn Manson these days. Marilyn Manson is... It really hurts me to say this, but he is a has-been. You know, like, there's a reason he was dropped from his label. But Ghost, their new tracks sound amazing. In fact, I played Dance Macabre for my daughter. And a minute and a half in, she's like, love this, man. Dad, I love it. It's really catchy. And a lot of people, like, talk about Ghosts like, oh, well, they sold out. They sold out. Blah, blah, blah. How did they sell out? They didn't sell out. The mainstream sold out to them. And that's the biggest thing about being kind of a theatrical band, is most theatrical bands don't sell out. Unless, of course, you're Kiss. Could I say that? But yeah, they don't sell out. The audience sells out to them. And yeah, we saw them at the Fillmore this past Saturday, and my goodness, I have not seen a show like that in a long time. Since this tour right here. And even back then, if you look. And the funny thing is about the internet is, now that we have the internet and everybody can hide behind a keyboard, they can say whatever they want to. And honestly, it probably would have been the same thing back in the mid-90s when Marilyn Manson was doing his thing. Like, really doing his thing. But the weird thing is, it's not really weird, but Ghost has better music there are better musicians on board. And that's kind of how I am. That's kind of how I feel. Like Ghost, the musicians that are playing said tour are great musicians. And Marilyn Manson didn't really have those musicians. He didn't have, like, when he fired Daisy Berkowitz, he fired Gidget Gein, Sarah Lee Lucas, Daisy Berkowitz. The three big musical contenders in Marilyn Manson. Well, Sarah Lee Lucas quit. But he fired 2 out of the 3 of the good musicians that he ever had. So, that's a different story. But I'm sorry, I'm comparing Ghost to Marilyn Manson. It's just the theatricality and all that stuff. But Tobias Forge has that great backing band. The drummer is great. The bassist is great. Both guitarists are great. The keyboard player is great. Something can't be said about Madonna Wayne Gacy. He was never a great keyboard player. He didn't even have a keyboard when he joined Marilyn Manson. I'm, again, drifting off. I'm comparing too much. But as somebody who came of age in the mid-90s, you can't talk about one without the other. But Ghost is the band that's going to stick around for a long time. And with the Nameless Ghouls thing, the masks, you don't have that Kiss thing. You know? You can replace any band member. Kind of like Dave Brockie did, you know, with War. You could replace any said member. Just throw the same mask on them, they're fine. You know, you can fire band members, you know, because obviously if you have... People can tell if it's Ace Frehley or Peter Criss. You just can. Based on facial structure, whatever. But with the masks, one thing that Tobias did, he made that kind of like... At this point, he could replace every member in his band, and we'd never know. And he probably has several times over, and we would never know because they wear the same masks. As long as you have the lead singer up there, and the funny thing is, my wife said tonight, well, he must be a control freak. And I'm like, you're damn right he is. Like, I noticed tonight I was watching Dance Macabre after one of the Nameless Ghouls plays his guitar solo, and he does a fist pound to the keyboardist. I originally thought it was just an off-the-cuff kind of thing. And then I watched another video, and then another video, and another video. It's all choreographed. That is genius, my friends. That is genius. And because of that, Ghost is... or they probably will be the next Kiss. Without all the greed, of course. But this is Slippy Jones, and I'm signing out for tonight. Have a good night, guys.